5 things I've learned about being an owner-operator from 5 years of working closely with an owner-operator. So the truck that I drive now is my dad's, and obviously because my boss, the owner of the truck, is my dad, he's been sharing a lot of insider tips with me. He's been sharing a lot of, if you want to call them, secrets with me. And I've observed a lot of things on my own in regards to owning and operating your own truck, even though I'm just driving this truck for my dad. So I guess you could say in this video, I'm gonna share with you a few things that I would say that anybody that is considering buying their own truck, owning and operating their own truck, should consider before they actually make that move. So let's jump right into it. The first thing I've noticed or observed or learned about being an owner-operator over the last 5 years is that there is a learning curve. At every step of this business, on every job that the truck has been on, because the truck has been on different jobs over the last 5 years that I've been in the truck, on every job and at every step and at every turn, there is a learning curve. Okay, so generally speaking, there is a learning curve in trucking overall, but there's also a learning curve per each job that the truck is going to go on. That has been my experience. Now, that's not a bad thing, but what that actually means is when we first put the truck on a job, when I first start working any job that this truck has been on, there's an adaptation period. There's a period of having to feel your way out. And that ranges from having to deal with the dispatcher to how they do things at the company that you're with, to the routes and the different ways that you're going to be taking, the different freight that you're going to be taking. All of those are learning curves. You know, I've had so many different situations where, you know, going to company B, I'll apply the same logic as I would when I go to company A. When I go to company A, this is the procedure. And when I go to company B, which I haven't been to before, I'll apply the same procedure that I would apply at company A. But the procedure's different at company B. And it might cost me some time in finding that out. And I may have to go to the same place a couple of times before I find out the best way to do things when I'm going to each particular facility that I might be going to. That's just one example of there being a learning curve. But again, that goes into routes that I might be taking. I might be taking a certain route going from point A to point B for a month or two before I find out a shorter route or a better way or a more efficient way or a more profitable way to do the same work. So at every corner, at every turn, there's a learning curve in trucking, but on every job that the truck goes on as an owner operator, and that's going to happen every now and then. You're going to have to switch up jobs every now and then. You can also look forward to there being a learning curve there as well. So the second thing I've learned and observed about owning and operating your own truck over the last 5 years is the power of networking, the power of your network. You know, there's a saying, your net worth is in your network. Okay, but maybe that saying, people haven't heard that so much in trucking, but I can definitely say from observing what I've observed, you know, a lot of the job, not a lot because the truck hasn't been on too many jobs, but the different jobs that this truck has been on, we find work for the truck based on relationships. Okay, based on relationships. In other words, nobody's gonna come looking for, we all wood chips. So unless people know that that is the line of work that we're in, nobody's gonna come looking for work for this truck or for the type of freight that we're set up to be able to haul. So obviously, whatever line of work that we're in, whatever line of work we're looking to do, the way we find work in those areas is by letting people know what we're looking for. You could call it marketing if you want. I'll just call it networking, essentially. Whatever you're doing, whatever you plan to get set up as, it is imperative that people know what you do. And so the power of building your network, okay? The power of establishing relationships and nurturing and maintaining those relationships. You might have to nurture a relationship with an individual for a few years before that relationship becomes quote unquote profitable, or until some money is actually turned or transacted. That may just happen, okay? The point is, you need to always be looking to build your network, and that's not just applicable when it comes to different places to get work, but that's also applicable when it comes to mechanics, different places to get your truck fixed. There's all kind of things that you're going to need to reach out for in your trucking journey, especially when you own your own truck. And whenever you don't know how to do something or where to get something, you want to be able to reach out to a network, and you don't want it to be to the point that the only time you reach out to someone is when you need something. You want to be building, maintaining, and nurturing those relationships so that when you need something, you've shared enough value and exchanged enough value with the individual that they don't mind helping you, because there's a relationship there. The third tip I've observed as far as owning and operating your own truck is, what is your angle? So as far as I'm concerned, any business that anyone is going to get into, there are averages, and unless you have some sort of special angle, it's likely that you are going to end up just being average. So how does that apply specifically to trucking, and how does that apply even more so specifically to owning and operating your own truck? The bottom line is, most people that own and operate their own truck don't make much money. There are, as it is in any industry, there are a lot of people making a little bit of money and a little bit of people making a lot of money. So being that is absolutely true, to me, whenever you're getting in any business, we're talking about trucking now, but whenever you're getting in any business, a question that you want to ask yourself is, what is your angle? What is it that you're going to do that is going to make you a little bit different than everyone else that is in the industry? What is your insulation against ending up average, against ending up in the mass of people that is only getting a little bit accomplished? So in trucking, your angle could be someone is going to give you a truck, or you've got connections on a really, really good deal on a truck. Now, if you're looking to get into trucking and you're looking to get your own truck, if you have connections on a dirt cheap truck, you have a unique angle. If you know all about fixing your truck and you don't have to rely on a mechanic, you have an angle. If you got enough money stacked up where you can afford to not take a check from your trucking business for the first 3 months, 6 months, or 9 months to a year, you have an angle. Do you know more about your line of work than the average individual? Do you have connections? Do you have a lot of connections in your line of work or the line of freight that you're going to be looking to get into hauling? These are all what I would call angles. These are all things that can separate you from everyone else that's looking to get into the industry. So if you're looking to own and operate your own truck, the question is, what is your angle? If you don't have one, that's not a deal killer, but the question you should be asking yourself is, well, what's going to stop me from ending up just being average as an owner-operator? Something definitely to consider. The fourth thing I've observed about being an owner-operator over the last few years of driving or working closely with an owner-operator, and I touched on this earlier, is you need to be able to adapt. You need to be able to change and adapt quickly in trucking, especially when it comes to owning and operating your own truck. And the reason being is because things change quickly in this industry. Okay, companies change management, companies change ownership, and companies' freight needs change, obviously. And then obviously your personal needs could change as well. But if you just look at the first three, companies changing ownership and management, and companies' freight needs changing, as a truck driver, as an owner-operator, in 99% of the situations, you as the trucker, you as the truck operator, the owner, you don't control the freight. You are susceptible or subject to the individual or the company or the people that control the freight. And so if something switches up with that, there's nothing that you can do. If management over the company changes, there's nothing that you can do. If you have some sort of special deal worked out, not special, but if you've got some sort of deal or insider thing worked out with the company, nothing illegal, but just something special, a special setup with the company, and management changes or ownership changes, then you've got no choice but to roll with those punches. That has actually happened with my dad and with us over the last 5 years. My dad was fortunate enough to actually be able to negotiate his own terms on a deal, and we ran that load for several years. We ran that run for several years. But when the company changed management, obviously the individual that he was able to work that out with wasn't there anymore, and the new individual that stepped in and take over that position wasn't willing to continue the deal that was worked out with my pop and with the truck that we have right now. So over the last few years, I've definitely noticed that things change quickly, and if you're not the type that's able to adjust quickly and adapt quickly, then again, this goes back to the learning curve. At every change, at every corner, there's going to be a learning curve, and the quicker that you are able to adapt and adjust, the quicker that once something changes, you can adapt and adjust and ultimately stay profitable. And the fifth and final tip that I've noticed and observed in relationship to owning and operating your own truck successfully is you have to be disciplined with your money as an owner-operator. You have to be disciplined with your money no matter what kind of business you own. And as an owner-operator, even if it's just you do own and operate your own business. And so it's critical that you are absolutely disciplined with your money, because things are going to come up. Again, there's going to be learning curves, and contrary to popular opinion, owner-operators can make good money, but that doesn't mean owner-operators are profitable every single week. It doesn't mean every owner-operators are profitable every single month, and it doesn't even mean owner-operators are profitable every single year, because being an owner-operator follows the same principles that that operating any business follows. And businesses aren't profitable every single year, and again, that is because changes do happen. And so it's imperative that as an owner operator, you're disciplined with your money. If you're not disciplined with your money as a driver, as an employee, as just a truck driver for someone else, and your desire is to become an owner operator because you believe as an owner operator you'll make more money and consequently you'll be able to have a better life, that doesn't necessarily mean that. In other words, what I'm saying is if you're not disciplined with your money as a company driver, don't necessarily expect becoming an owner operator to solve your money problem. Okay, it is often not necessarily what we bring in that determines what we can accumulate. It's how we handle what we bring in that determines what we can accumulate. And I would say, after working closely with an owner operator over the last 5 years, I can absolutely say that that's true, because again, things are going to happen, and you want to be able to cover yourself when things happen. What that means is when you make $1 as an owner operator, you have to understand that that dollar is not all yours. Okay, when you make $1 as an owner operator, you really only made maybe 25 or 30 cents. You really only get to bring home about 25 or 30 cents. The rest of that money is not your money. And so as an employee, typically working for someone else, whatever you get is yours to keep. But as an owner operator, whatever you get is not yours to keep, and you have to keep that in mind. You are a steward over not only your own money, but also the government's money and other people's money as well as an owner operator. And so you have to be disciplined enough to do what you need to do to cover yourself, so that when times are not as profitable as they need to be, you can still operate without being stressed out. Maurice Bay, the Helpful Trucker here. For more helpful CDL tips, go here, or consider subscribing to my YouTube channel right here. Could have been anywhere else in the world, but instead you chose to be here with me, and I really appreciate that.